Welcome back, everyone, to Mindful Leadership Beyond Borders. This is Betska, the Guru Coach, together with Raj Vashisht. And our guests are Gill and Clay Ross from Canada. And we're discussing birds. Just one simple word about birds is the love that they bring to us. And so I want to ask this question. What's the importance of birds to us humans? What do you think? What's the importance of these delightful live guys to us as humans? What's the role that they play?
The sound they make.
Yeah.
The example given that when we moved to a new property is when we got out of the car for our present property, the first thing I said to Jill, listen to the birds. And that's what made it different to us. And ever since that day, that's been the fact. Before we started feeding and attracting them to the local location, you could hear the birds. So it's that peace of mind.
Yeah.
To sit quietly with a cup of coffee and drink on the veranda and to be able to hear or see the birds. There's something settling about them.
I think whenever you see a bird, your first reaction, whether you're conscious of it or not, is you're smiling. Really,
it's true.
You know?
It's true. Yeah.
And there is a beauty and an enviable freedom that you see in birds.
You'll never find anybody who hates. You'll never find anybody who hates birds.
I'm always feeling I'm a bird.
Oh,
you're a bird.
You're a bird?
I'm always feeling I'm a bird.
Oh, he always feels like he's a bird. Okay. Well, we know that they herald in the day. You know, the birds will wake us up in the morning, and sometimes they're very loud. And I when I think they're really loud, I believe they're telling me that their bird feeder is getting a little empty. So Betska, get out there. And you know, even if you're a single type of person, you never feel alone because the birds are always there, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they bring us joy, and we're so happy to look after them, you know, feeding, bird baths, etc.
And they are giving very aliveness feeling and hope for the
okay.
Whenever I was in school and college, I was not well, like fever or like illness. So when I woke up, then when I heard the bird voice, so I feel I'm more healthy, more positive.
I think too, and Clay, you can tell, birds have a way, this is in Africa, we had the weaver birds. And depending on how low to the river levels, they built their nest, you could tell whether it was going to be a very dry year or wet year and things like that. That there are certain signs of nature or the season ahead that birds give us. And just pay attention to it.
Yes.
Yeah, so, and then feeding of the birds, what birds you can attract, that is always something that people will do. And when I think of birding, what's the first birds that we have in the house? A canary or a budgie?
Yeah.
Both birds, canaries especially, they've got a beautiful song. It makes people happy. That's why we put them in a cage and have them in the house. Because we maybe have lost that outside. If you're in a big city, you've lost the bird on the outside. So that starts a lot of people into birding. And then once you get into the country, then it comes a matter of you want to capture not only the sound, but the picture of it too. And to capture the sound of birds is a big challenge. You know, it takes very special equipment to capture the sound and link it to the picture. And to me, people who can identify birds by their sound is something that you've really got to study them hard. You know, to hear a bird calling, not seeing it, just calling, and be able to name that bird, to me, then you're starting to get pretty serious in the hobby.
I'm gonna suggest that most people can't do that.
Yes, you're right.
But
You know, that, yeah.
there is an app you can get on your phone, apparently, that you hear the sound. And one of the people we were hiking with, Morel, one day said, "Oh, have you got this?" And you just turned on, "Oh, it's such and such a bird," even though you couldn't see the bird, but you could hear the bird. So
Yeah.
the wonders of the modern apps.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, I might be interested in that. To see if I can find that app. I mean, in a given day here, I don't know how many different bird calls we have just from the birds
Yeah.
coming into our yard, you know.
And
So,
the pond.
and the pond, yes. Oh my gosh. So, what do you think is a human's responsibility to look after the birds? What is our responsibility since they bring us so much joy? You know, what is our responsibility?
You know, there was a very interesting survey done in England many years ago of how many birds are killed by cats over a period of a year. And the government department there of nature studies issued plastic bags to everybody in a certain radius who had a cat and said, please, could you, every bird that you find that's been killed by a cat, put it in the bag and keep it for us. They went back after a year and they checked all the breeds of the birds that were in the bags. And the statistics were quite phenomenal that it was 50 or 60,000 birds were killed in this period of a year, all by cats. And these were cats that were home-bred cats, had a good diet, but a cat's curiosity of chasing and hunting a bird. And then they would bring it back to the house for some reason. So in their opinion, over a huge area in England, and you could extrapolate that to other countries, is the number one cause of the demise of birds, closely followed by birds flying into lighted buildings in big cities.
Yeah.
So these are the things that are knocking some species out. If they have a migratory route over a big city, and I think it's with the lights on at night that the birds will fly into the windows. Regardless, they've picked these birds up and done analysis of it, and it's quite alarming, the number of birds. So they have, I know in Calgary this was the case, put an advisory out to businesses, either keep your lights on or off, I can't remember which, because this would stop the birds flying into the buildings. And a lot of businesses did that, and they noticed a sharp decline of finding dead birds on the pavement in the morning.
So they turn their light off.
On or off, I can't remember which.
Okay.
It can be recorded in some data somewhere.
Right, yeah.
So that the birds don't, because they migrate at night, a lot of them, so the birds don't fly into the building, get killed in the building. And they noticed that the next morning, when the people did as advised, there was less birds killed in the night. So there's hundreds of thousands of birds killed when you think of all the big cities all over the world. Less birds killed by something as innocuous as a light on or off. These are the type of things. If you're interested in birds, you can get this and follow it.
Yeah, wow.
Cats and light.
So we need to pay more attention to what causes the demise of birds and create environments that help keep them alive.
Yes.
Right? Because they bring us so much joy. I had no idea, Clay. I mean, that just breaks my heart. So we do have a big responsibility to feed them, to give them water, especially when it's very hot, or in the wintertime. Here we have hummingbirds, so we give them food in the winter when there are no flowers around for them to feed on, and so on. So my last question is, if Sammy had a voice, if he was a real bird, what do you think he would say to humans?
What would he say?
Yeah.
Don't put me on your hat again.
I'm not comfortable on your shoulder.
Get free.
That's a question that it's a question which I would say I don't know, because it's such a broad question. And feeding birds in the backyard is it makes you feel good and it looks good because you can watch them, but it's such a very small percentage of the population. What it does do is it makes, because you'll see a lot of the birds that are feeding in our backyards are females. So what does that do? That makes their body condition better for when they have eggs, and they can then look after the babies better.
Yeah.
That's such a small percentage, though. The big thing is, of those two things that I mentioned earlier, cats, we're talking all over the world, and buildings. Those two things are responsible for more mortality in birds than any other two things.
I think it must be lights on. Because
I'm
if they're
thinking, yeah.
Lights on makes sense to me.
They would get blinded by the lights. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Well, it's just that they can see the building and yeah. Anyway.
So I'm thinking if Sammy could talk, he would probably tell us to treat birds like we treat ourselves. You know, treat us with lots of love, treat us as equals, if you will. You know, allow us to entertain you. And yes, please continue to feed us and give us water. But really have great respect for the bird and animal kingdom, because they have value, huge value to this planet. And even how they communicate is amazing to me. You know, within one species, how they're talking to each other. I wish I knew what they were saying to each other. I mean, so just like us humans, they have great value to this planet. So I think that's what Sammy would say. What do you think?
Yes, and on that subject, this going back to Africa, I photographed a vulture sitting in a tree looking at a kill. And this vulture sat there, and in his wing, he had a tag with a number on it. I know that thing because I used to be part of that bird identification there with the tags. I took my picture number. I phoned the organization in South Africa, which was, this vulture was tagged 2,000 miles away.
Wow.
And the tag was put on by a group that was a conservation tracking birds. And they were interested to find that this bird was so far away, which they then discovered later was a normal migratory route of vultures looking for food. But the sad part about it is there are groups of African hunters who deliberately poison the vulture because the feathers are considered a good omen when it comes to buying a lottery ticket.
Oh.
They were then killing vultures to get the feathers, but inadvertently, they were then decimating the whole of the southern continent of this particular species. Because it shows you how an incident as isolated as that becomes an international incident. And storks, for example, out of Europe were being killed for some, I can't remember why, but they migrated between Africa and Europe. And there was a certain thing that could be done to stop these birds being killed. And they did it, and they found that it worked exceptionally well for the preservation of that species. So it just shows you, on your little system at home, you might affect a whole international. The hummingbirds, for example, that tiny little hummingbird, he flies 1,000 miles south.
Yeah.
And yet if we feed him here, it could result in him being in better condition for him to fly that distance and reproduce and breathe there. So it just shows you, well, one little bird in your backyard, you can help the birds.
What a story. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you, Gill and Clay. I just so enjoyed this topic here today. Thank you for your knowledge. Thank you for your photography, and for bringing us humans more aware of the beauty of birds and how we should take care of them. Raj, final comment to you.
For me, Sami want their territory safe and freedom.
Okay.
They don't
Sami
want,
wants their territory
they don't
safe and they want their freedom.
they
Okay.
don't want human can interfere and create a high-rise buildings in jungle or birds area.
Oh my gosh, that's for sure. So Sami just had his word. So, okay, guys, I gotta run. Well, thank you so much for being with us. Gosh, it's been fabulous, and everybody have a super day. We'll talk soon, huh?
You too, Betska. Take
Okay.
care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Raj.
Bye.